Learned helplessness is a phenomenon that was coined by Martin Seligman and Stephen Meyer in the 1960s to describe a phenomenon that occurs when organisms are faced with repeated failures and eventually stop trying. They discovered this when they put some animals into a cage with electric floors and administered an uncomfortable but non-lethal shock. What they found was that even when they removed the barrier that would have allowed these animals to escape, they chose not to. We are animals as well, and this also applies to us. What got me thinking about this particular phenomenon occurred when I was playing a video game that I won't mention because it's very well done and I'm not trying to disparage it. I think my complaint is more with the modern video game industry in general. They updated the game. This particular game had been in alpha development for a very long time. Finally has hit the standard version. Recently added some new features to it. I could not beat this particular challenge. So I tried to push through and go through it the way you're supposed to, problem solve, hit it from different angles. But really I tried once and gave up. For context, I started playing video games on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. I beat the rock tunnel in Pokemon Yellow by walking blindly through it in the dark. I somehow intuited the fact that I was moving through it. There must have been some sort of animation that gave it away. But I walked through this until my character couldn't move anymore, and then quite randomly went left or right for the duration of the dungeon. Got through to the other side. I was probably around 9 years old. I think that told me a lot about the differences between my 9-year-old self and myself in the present day. Back then, video games were complete. When you got them, that was the game. If you weren't doing something in it, you either were not good enough and it was too tough and I guess you just went outside and played with sticks, or you had the assumption that you were doing something wrong and you did something differently. What was not the assumption, though, was that the game was broken. So after unloading 2 full handgun clips into this new entity that they added, which would have been way too much for it, it wasn't big enough, it didn't relate to the other characters in the game in a way that would show me that it had a huge hit point pool, I just gave up and turned off the computer. And then I went to Google, and I found that that was a feature. That particular entity was highly resistant to ranged damage. Now what I didn't do was pull out a melee weapon, I didn't try anything else, I just kind of assumed that it was a glitch in the programming. That generalizes to life. So many of our systems out there are just broken. Try to interact with anything, try to cancel a subscription. You can't do it. So without going too far down into that whole complaint, what I'm seeing is maybe a cultural or a generational rewiring of our thought processes. That our initial thought when something doesn't go right is that I did something wrong, let me try something else. More and more of our thoughts, or at least my thoughts, have become, this is broken, I can't do anything about it, I'll just move on and try something else. That seems like a pretty toxic thought process, but one that hasn't come out of nowhere. It's certainly learned helplessness.